Hi, welcome to my first ever Wizard 101 video, but hopefully one of my most exciting Wizard 1 videos. Today I'm doing a level 1 through to 60 gear guide. At the moment I am on my 150 balance right now. I got some of the Merciless gear, which is kind of cool. I just want to show that off. But basically I'm going to be talking about level 1 through 60 and the gear guides that you need, the gear that you would need for each level, going on into, the worlds of Wizard City, Crocotopia, Marleybone, Mushu, and so on and so forth through the Arc 1 and Arc 2 worlds. And obviously through these worlds, you know, it is quite challenging at times to solo. So hopefully these tips and tricks help you with guiding your way through to that. And yeah, let's go. Alrighty, so the first pieces of gear that I'd recommend at around level 5 would be Bazaar gear. So Bazaar gear is, obviously the Bazaar has changed, but the Bazaar gear for level at least 5 is pretty good. If I go here, you get, and we go school specific, level 10 here, but you can go through from level 5 and get Bazaar gear, and they're not always going to give you the best, stats wise, but whatever it is in the shop, you can use. So for example, this Cow's sensibility, 64 health and 3 damage as a balance. And however, when you get to level 20, for example, you can upgrade that to Cal Retribution for 62 health and 3 damage. So a lot of this gear is just people who will go through Grizzleheim, Crocotopia, and worlds which are level specific. And yeah, they just get gear and they sell it to the Bazaar at Alex Silverfist. Um, Another recommendation I would make is once you are level 5, you can also get something called Heartsteel. Heartsteel is a not amulet, and a theme that you can get which provides you 45 health and 5 resist. It is 260 crowns, of course, but if you do trivia and other crown earning opportunities, like not Grub Guardian, but other ways to get crowns, like events and stuff, you can get that. So that is one way to obviously have a good start, because 5 resist at the beginning of the game is monumental and is huge for when you're trying to go through those earlier levels, especially with those hard bosses at the beginning. Alrighty, so the next piece of gear you want to be getting is Mount Olympus gear, and obviously if you do the quest line, you'll get a quest from Cyrus Drake at Ravenwood when you do hit level 30, which is around Mushu level. Once you do get that, he'll give you a couple quests, it gives you someone to defeat, which then would lead you to this like chariot sort of thing, and yeah, you can go to Aquila. So take Apollo's chariot, and it takes you to the first sort of major dungeon you'll be in the game, really. So level 30, it's a really exciting dungeon if you're starting the game, first of all. But Mount Olympus, so level 30 is the gear, so you get Zeus's gear at the end, and you also get a wand called the Sky Eye Enhancer. So the Zeus's gear, which I'll show on the screen for you, is obviously school specific for each one, but regarding in terms of level 30 gear, it is a very much big upgrade compared to your Bazaar gear from around levels 1 till 30. So it's a big upgrade and, really exciting, especially, going through the game. It's quite slow, maybe only having a couple buffs, including your pet and maybe Heartsteel. You get your first, wand, which you'll be carrying out all the way until, maybe even past level 100, depending on if you pay anything for the game. But, you'll be carrying it quite far, and obviously the Zeus gear is quite good as well. So you'll be carrying that through levels 30 till 60. And yeah, it's really exciting as, it's one of the most, key pillars in the game in terms of like Wizard 101 lore, I guess, like going through Mount Olympus, getting your first Zeus gear is really exciting. And yeah, that's where you'll be heading off to, Mount Olympus, be talking to Salinas, and yeah, that's it. Alrighty, so another piece of gear you can go, as you're still using your Zeus gear, just before you hit Waterworks and House of Scales slash Zigzag, at level 60, you can make your way over into Sudraland and go over to this little birdie or raven, Karak Strongthread. He gives you the recipes and equipment recipes for all the gear, for level 56 plus. So this will be the first lots of gear which really do give you high crit, high damage and resist. I would always recommend the helmets, just purely because each one does give you a blade for your school specific. And yeah, so if you just look at the spells, you get a 30 balance blade if you're a balance. Let's go to a, yeah, Storm, you get a 35 blade. So it is pretty good if you're, you know, struggling to get maybe that Waterworks gear or House of Scales gear and you're not kind of wanting to farm. This gear will serve you all the way through until your levels through, maybe until like around level 60 to 90. Even up until Darkmoor at level 100, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, this is kind of the gear you want to be going for if you're struggling with that. And yeah, so Carrick Strong Thread in Sugerland, if you just make your way from Hrundle to here, that's where you find him. And yeah, here we go to the next one. Alrighty, so your next course of action is when you hit level 60. So in level 60, you'll hit you'll hit level 60 and you'll gain access to a couple of quests. So your first quest will be from Bloodraven Eye in Triton Avenue, and he will give you a quest to go back down to Crab Alley, where you originally were at the beginning levels. And through this, you gain access, and you have to save by talking to Herman, by the way. You have to gain access. You gain access to Waterworks, which Waterworks is is one of the most stable dungeons in this game. You get a huge crit buff, you get a huge damage buff, huge resist buff, and that point in the game, hopefully you have a good setup in terms of like your pets, your gold, your gardening and whatnot, and your crafting. So if you are doing all the basics correctly, Waterworks should be good. You do obviously want to access the team up, because, you know, soloing Waterworks at level 60 is very hard unless you're quite experienced at the game. So I would not recommend that. But yeah, plenty of people do team up, as this is one of the most stable dungeons in the game at level 60. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but I'll also put the gear on screen for you guys. Also, I will be referring to the balance gear throughout this guide, just solely because I am on a balance. And yeah, and let's jump in straight to the next one. Alrighty, so the next one you would be going to is Krokotopia. Yes, back to Krokotopia, I know. But instead of this time going through the whole Krokotopia, you gain access to Zigazag. Zigazag is a side kind of like quest to the game, or side thing you can do in Krokotopia. And you gain access through it by getting a quest from the Balance Professor Alzered. And he essentially gives you the quest to access Zigazag, which is obviously, again, you don't have to do it, essentially, like Waterworks. You don't have to do these dungeons. They're not main questline, but they're quite important in terms of being able to gain access to better gear and whatnot. And you gain access to Zigazag. So you gain access to lower and upper Zigazag, and you access it through going through the statue, which you eventually do at level 60. Do a couple quests, you gain this. Clearly, you know, I haven't been here in a while since have not been in up Zigazag. I don't even think I've completed this dungeon, to be fair, on my Balance Wizard. So, yeah, it'll be somewhere, but I definitely have not completed this. Yeah, I haven't. Anyways, so you gain access. Oh, they've actually updated her. That's funny. But yeah, you gain access to Zigazag, which is just over here. And essentially, I haven't even gain access to it yet because I haven't done it, but because I just did Waterworks instead. But you do a couple quests, so on and so forth, and you gain access to the House of Scales. And the main boss you want to defeat in House of Scales is Amit the Devourer. I actually use on my level 130 Storm, I actually went on and did this just to get some of the gear, because for Storm and certain schools there is preferred gear. So for example, if you're a Death, you can get the hat. Storm, again, it's a hat. The Zigazag gear, or the House of Scales gear from Amit the Devourer, does favor more damage orientated. So depending on what you're going for as a wizard, or your build, whether you're teaming up with people, i.e. being a Storm, you might want to go for more damage if you're teaming up with people, or whether you just purely just want to skim through the game a bit quicker, you do want to go through Amit the Devourer and get your House of Scales gear. It's quite straightforward, the dungeon. There's a couple of bosses and mobs, but other than that, you should be quite at ease if you go through team up. Not as many people use it, but there's plenty of people who do if you're on at the right time. So that is it. House of Scales at level 60. So I just switched to my Death so I could give you guys just a bit of more of an understanding in terms of the rings and amulets. So at levels 50, you gain access to the Raven's Onyx talent, which is purchased by somebody in, I believe it is... not Sugerland, or I think it might be Vet. So I did forget to mention, but you do have to do a side quest in Hrundle once you do gain access to it. So you do the side quest, and I believe, I'll pop it on screen what the quest name is, but it's when you go into Hrundle and you have to talk to the chief. You then have to unfreeze a few bears, and here's one of the bears which you unfreeze, who then gives you access to purchasing their Athame and Ring. Sorry. Streland, I believe. But you can use this one to yeah, you buy this one, it gives you decent damage, good pip, and damage, and also a tier socket which you can socket a health opal whilst you're playing. Another one which is really good when you hit level 60 is Shango's, you know, this is Deathblade Amulet, but there is a vendor in Zafaria if you go to the Baobab Market and 76. So this one's really good, so I wouldn't worry about that. And yeah, so that is definitely good. I'm still using this Sky on Hustle, guys, so don't worry about that one. That's for sure. And yeah, those ones are kind of the most important ones. And if I go home, I believe in my shared bank, I have a couple more, which I'd be able to show you in terms of stuff that I have for the lower levels that I already kind of have prepared. So if you go over to, right, might be my bank even. Alrighty, so I did find it was on my fire, but the Bramble band is level 23. This is probably one of the best bands. I mean, sorry, rings which you can get at this level. Again, I'm just using Heartsteel, which is a crown bought one as well. I'm not even using any amulets on my fire, which is like level 14. But yeah, that carries you through really well. And yeah, those are pretty much the options you have for those ones. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Also, this is my first YouTube video, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could support by liking and subscribing. And yeah, sharing the video if you would like as well. Anyways, it's been Lockie or Gwig. Hope you guys have a lovely day and enjoy the video. Peace out. Bye.